Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeously large granny square blanket. Now obviously that's not the size. We couldn't make it all in one tutorial now, could we? Could you imagine? So at this stage all we've done is, in this particular tutorial, all we've done is 1, 2 and 3 rows. Okay, we've started the tutorial 1, 2 and 3. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. How does it look? This is the yarn we're using today. It's called Lincraft Baby Merino, and I will do the specs for you in a minute. Okay, you will need your crochet hook. Now I used a size 4.5. The actual crochet hook calls for, I believe, a 4. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure it calls for a 4mm hook. Tension. There we go. It calls for your 4mm hook. Let's get a nice close-up for you. And there you go. Okay. 4mm hook. The average skein has 86 centimeters per skein. How many skeins do you need? Well, that's entirely up to you and how big you want your blanket to be. Now, roughly, I calculated that we would need around 8 skeins of the blue and 10 skeins of the white. Having said that, it depends on your yarn and the meterage. Okay, if it's, oh, by the way, for my overseas friends, if it's 86 centimeters for the meter, you will need 34 inches. So it's 86 centimeters, 34 inches. I don't know what that is in yards. Go ahead and Google it. What can I say? Google our friend, you know. So go ahead, Google the yardage on the 86 meters and calculate how much you would need. Now, I roughly use 1,000 to 1,200 grams. Now, our skeins, they work in 50 gram skeins. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure this is 50 grams. If I can see it, I'll tell you, but I'm fairly sure it's 50 grams. Let's get a nice close-up of it. Sure is. I can see it right there. Ta-da! 50 grams, okay? So I know for a fact that I use 1,000 to 1,200 grams worth for a blanket, normally. Sometimes I'd need more. I'd need 800 grams if I'm making a large blanket, okay? But for a cot-sized blanket and maybe a tiny little bit bigger, I would usually only need 1,000 to 1,200 grams. So, again, up to you. You decide how big you want your blanket to be. In part 2, we'll talk about measurements, but today we are doing part 1. You will need your crochet hook. You will need your darning needle. I'm sorry, guys, you will need that darning needle. You will need your scissors. You won't need your measuring tape until part 2. But in the meantime, here is part 1, and we're going to get started right now. All right, as mentioned in the promo, we will be using our sky blue today, and we will be using our cream. We are starting with your cream. Okay, don't forget you need these items. You will need them. Yes. All right. The stitches you will need to know for today are, let's bring that up. You'll need to know your chain stitch, your double crochet stitch, and just quickly how to do a slip knot, which only happens once in this tutorial, right at the very beginning. If you would like to know how to do all of these stitches, I will leave links to these stitches in the description box down below. Click on those links and I'll have a nice easy tutorial on how to do each one of them. In the meantime, we're going to get started with our quick slip knot. Yarn over your finger once and yarn over your finger twice, hold it there. Pass your back loop halfway over, hold it there. Pass the other loop all the way over your finger. Pop your hook through the loop and just give it a gentle tug. Easy, easy. Beautiful. Now, ordinarily we would start with a chain 3. But for this particular tutorial, I want to do chain 4. So yarn over hook, pull a loop through once. Yarn over hook, pull a loop through twice. Yarn over hook, pull a loop through 3 times. And again, 4 times. And you now have 4 chains, all right? We are going to slip stitch into our very first stitch that you started with. Get a nice close up for you so you can see. Grab your hook and just pop it through the stitch right there, okay? Grab a loop, pull it through like so. Grab the loop, pull it through the stitch on your hook as well. keeping your fingers holding that little space open there, okay? So now you're going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we are going to put a double crochet in that little space that we're holding open, nice and tight there, right there. Okay, yarn over your hook. This is your double crochet. Pop your hook in that space, yarn over hook, pull up a loop, yarn over hook, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. So you can let go of your space if you like, but I would like to keep it open so that I can work over this little tail end and we can see what we're doing. So yarn over hook, pop your hook through the space again, yarn over hook, pull up a loop, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2. You now have 2 double crochets and 3 chains. These 3 chains will act as your first double crochet. So in other words, you have 3 double crochets there. Now you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Then you're going to put 3 more double crochets in that space. All right, so go for it. 1. Let's bring that out a bit now. 2. Hopefully you started with your cream or your lighter colour. You could have started with a darker colour as well. It doesn't matter. It's whatever suits you for your colour combination. Okay, there's your 3 double crochets. We're going to chain 2 again. 1 and 2. We're going to do another 3 double crochets in here. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, now we're going to chain 2 again. These chains that you are doing, 2, they are forming your corners and you need 4 corners. Okay, so we're going to do another 3 double crochets, still crocheting over your tail end if you want. You didn't have to, but that actually just helps me to lock it in place. We are going to be weaving that in as well, guys. I like to do double the strength in these items when it comes to granny squares. Okay, so there's your tail end. Just pop it at the back now because this was your last 3 double crochets. You've got 3 there, chain 2, 3 there, chain 2, 3 there, chain 2. Now we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch at the top of that 3rd chain that we did earlier. Okay, so chain 1 and 2. Let me get a nice close up for you for this part. This is the chains that belong to this double crochet. So you need to get the chains before it, which are right there. A little bit difficult to see the white. Hopefully you can see the blue a bit better. A little bit tight my stitch as well. It's always tight. So there you go. I've popped it through 2 loops. You should have 1 loop underneath and 2 loops on top. Okay. Now, oh, too close now, isn't it? So you're still there in that stage. Now you just grab a loop and pull it through there. And then pull it through the chain, the loop on your hook, sorry, right there. And you have joined your square. All right, now we are going to chain 1 and pull the loop right up. Grab your scissors and cut it. Pull that loop through. You didn't have to do such a long tail. I did, but you didn't have to. Okay, you're going to weave that in, but not now. Not now. We're going to do a couple of rows. You can do them straight away if you like, but I just want to show you these rows first. Okay, grab your sky blue. Now you can start anywhere you like. Yours truly always starts in a different corner that I just ended off with. So I ended off there. I'm going to start in the corner before just for something different. All you need to do at this stage is pop your hook through that big space, chain space of the corners. All right, now grab your yarn, your blue or whatever contrast you used, loop it over your hook and then pop the hook through that space. You still have your little tail here. If you pass it forward and hold it there, kind of locks it into place while you're starting your next row. So we're chaining up 1. So 1, 2 and 3. Pays to leave this third one a little bit loose because yours truly always does hers very tight and we can't slip stitch into it later. Now we're going to do double crochets and we're going to work over that tail end if you like. You don't have to, but yours truly finds that a lot easier. So we're going to do a normal double crochet in that space there. I'm going to do another one, yarn over hook, pop it in the space, yarn over hook, pull up a loop, yarn over hook, pull through 2 loops, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2 loops. Now, see how you've done your 2 double crochets right there and your 3 chains? That 3 chain will act as a double crochet. Just give your work a little bit of a tug into the corner there so you can move it over. You're going to chain 2. 1, 2. That's forming your corner in this row. Now you're going to do 3 double crochets in the same space, and this will form your corner completely. So I found the merino wool a little bit soft and difficult to work with. Okay, so pass your tail end at the back now because you've crocheted over it. Okay, now you don't have to do this, but this is what I like to do with this other tail end. I hold it in my hands at the back there. You don't have to. This is just what I do so that I can crochet over it. We need to jump into that next corner. So yours truly will do that. You don't have to. It's just what I always do. So it's yarn over hook, pull up a loop. Now I can drop that tail end. Now yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2. So I'm actually crocheting over that tail end. Okay. Now you do 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. Okay. Oh, it's a bit far away there. Sorry, guys. Chain up 2, 1 and 2, and then do 3 double crochets in the same space, crocheting over that knot from your previous row. Okay. Later, we will still weave that white end in, okay, a few times that way because yours truly is a stickler when it comes to ends. I really want those ends weaved in. And we've done our 3 double crochets, our chain 2 and our 3 double crochets. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing in the next 2 squares, in the next 2 corners. Ready? Jumping in and doing your set. Okay. This is called, in this particular tutorial, this is called a double cluster set. Okay, 1 and 2. You don't have to remember that. That's just for my benefit. But maybe later, further into the tutorial, it would be nice to know. Okay. Especially when I shout out, just pop a double cluster set here and a cluster there, and you'll sit there and think, what is she talking about? Go into your next corner and do your double cluster set. 3, 2, 3. If it helps you to remember it that way. 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Okay. I hope it's not too noisy in here for you guys. I've left the door open because it was nice and quiet outside for a while. So I thought I'll leave the door open and see how we go. And so far I've heard trucks and dogs and all sorts of weird things. I hope you haven't heard them. All right. So this is what you have. All right. Let's just bring that out a little bit. You have your double cluster set there. Double cluster, double cluster, double cluster. And this is the time to check that you have done it all correctly. Because we are going to slip stitch it into the top of that 3rd chain again like before. And once we start cutting our thread and you've made, say, I don't know, you've missed 3 double crochets somewhere, you're going to run out of thread. Okay, so just be wary. Now remember that double crochet, that chain right there belongs to that double crochet. Okay, let's just split the stitch so you can see it. And this chain right here, which is very tricky to see, right there, that stitch, right there, you should have 1 loop under your hook and 2 loops on top of your hook. Grab a loop and pull it through that chain and then pull it through your double crochet, your loop on your hook. And then loop it. Now remember to check your work before you do this part because once you cut, you've lost that thread if you've forgotten to do another set or another double set there, you know. So there you go. And that's that. That is so far your little square. And I say little because it's very little. The size of my thumb, it's very little. Okay, so we're going to change our colours yet again to your white. Now, if you're using other colours as well, by all means, go ahead. Okay. Now, as I said before, I will never start on an area where I see my thread. So yours truly is just going to start on the one just before it. Okay, your white one was there, your blue one's there, and your second white one is going to be started just before it. So pop your hook in and then grab your white thread and just pull it through. Pop the thread over your hand, the front of your work. This is just to lock it in place. You don't need to. I just do it to lock it in place. So we're going to yarn over your hook once again. Oh, it's too close. I'm trying to help you out. I'm going crazy. So yarn over your hook, pull the loop through, chain 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, now we're going to put 2 double crochets in that corner right there. 1, working over your tail end if you like, 2. Now that we've done our 3, well, actually I know it's only 2 double crochets, but these chains are working as your 3rd double crochet again, and that'll be like that in every round from now on, okay? Well, from the beginning really. So now we're chaining 2, 1 and 2. And we're going to do another 3 double crochets in that space, and you can still keep crocheting over your tail if you like. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so pop your white tail end at the back now. Okay, now remember what I did before? I held on to my tail end from the blue. You don't need to, but I will. Now in this row, we have spaces in between our corners. Now these little spaces need to be filled in. Now whenever I fill them in, I'll call them a cluster set, like one cluster set or cluster set 1. Okay, so really that just means 3 double crochets. So you are putting 3 double crochets in every space before your corner. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so you've got your 2 corner, your double cluster set there, your 1 cluster set there. Now you're going to put a double cluster set in that corner. So you're doing 3, 2, 3. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. Very, very basic. So all you really need to do, 1, 2, is remember that every space needs 3 double crochets and every corner space needs 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets in this row. Pretty coolio, right? So put in 3 double crochets in that space. You can start to see the square. You could start to see it before, but this is the row where it gets very clearer, okay? And then after that, you are going to fly through this blanket. Okay. Very nice. I like. That's your corner. 3 double crochets. You need to put 2 chains and 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. Remember that little center space before your corner? We need to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. And then there's another corner right there. We need to put 3, 2, 3. Double cluster set. 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. 1 and 2, 3 double crochets. Okay, now let's pop into that very last space before our corner, because our corner's already been done. This is the very first set that we did. We're going to pop into that space and we're going to do our 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now remember that stitch we struggled to get our hook through on every row? We're going to do that again. So there it is right there. Okay, there you go. 1 on the bottom and 2 on the top. And let's just pull the thread through like so, right there, and pull it through the loop on your hook. Make a chain. Before you cut, remember to check your work, okay? Nothing worse than we've made a mistake and we have to, oh, that's very far away now, isn't it? I'm doing well, guys. Okay, how's that? Looks correct to me. See how gorgeous the square looks? It already looks like a square, okay? All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to cut that one. Now, before we continue, this is what I would like for you to do, all right? Turn your work over, have a careful look at these ends, all right? We're going to weave in one end, okay? Any one you want. I'm going to pick, let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's pick one of these. See right there, that one there, because it's a smaller end to weave in. Let's try one of those for now. And then we'll do that the middle section as well. I hope this thread works because it's a bit of merino, so it's really soft. Okay, now if you were anything like me, I crocheted over the end, didn't I? You saw me doing that. But yours truly is very pedantic and still would like to weave it in as well. Don't just pop your needle through, because what's going to happen is it might just unravel what we've done. So what you need to do is very gently find a little piece of blue here and split that yarn and then pop it through. Okay, so grab your little needle, pull it through, and there you go. It's tightened it up. Don't pull it too tight, just that little bit. Then you're going to go back one more time. So you've crocheted over it once, you've weaved it in the second time, and now we're going to weave it in for that third time. Find another space where you haven't split the yarn and then pass it through, making sure you can't see your needle on this end. Okay, pass it through, pull that loop through, you're set. That's done. Now that will never come undone, not ever. You have gone over it 3 times. Crocheted over it once, sewn over it twice, okay? Now, just quickly, I will show you how to do that middle, the very, very middle one, but we've already crocheted over it, and you're assuming you're not going to worry about it. It'll never come undone. You could never know. So I would actually weave that tail end in, and of course I haven't left a very long end, so it's going to be a little bit tight for me, but we're going to try it anyway. All right, so when you're weaving it in, you're just weaving in what you've crocheted over it, but we've crocheted over this way. So now we're just going to keep going back that way, making sure you can't see your needle there, because otherwise your work will come through. It's not a very big tail end. It's going to give me drama now. Okay. All right, now I do a third time usually. I go back the other way, and that's my third time. Now, normally I'd go all the way around. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Oh, no, I can still do it. I'll just put the yarn back in it. So I've taken it out. I'll just pop it back in and then pull that through. And we're done. All right. So now what we need to do is cut that tail end. Right there. You have weaved over that once. You have darned it through a second time, or weaved it through a second time. I'm lying. You've crocheted over it once, you've weaved it through a second time, and you've weaved it through that third time. That is never going to come undone for you, okay? So now what I would like for you to do, and this is the fun bit, guys. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Admire your work for starters. The fun bit is go away. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I should say head off on your own. They're better words to use. And do yourself altogether 10 rows. So we've done 3 rows already. You need to do another 7 rows. However, when you're doing your 7 rows now, you now have 2 spaces before your corners. So you need to do your corner space, your first cluster set, your second, and then your double. So 2 sets in there, and then 1 in each space in between. 3, 2, 3, and then 3, 3. 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, so on, making sure you go over your ends if you want to. Now, when you have done your 10 rows, meet me back here in a week's time and we'll have a quick chat about what we're going to do next. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget, if you would like to do further tutorials with us, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you click all to get all the videos coming up. There's so much coming up over the next few months. You are going to love them. So meet me again in a week's time after you've done your 7 rows. And guess what, guys? Ciao for now.